Hi, it's Fortune Buchholz, and here I am with a sudden and surprise unboxing. I just have recently been unboxing the new Nigel Jackson Rose Tarot, and then I managed to find a way to get my hands on the Rumi Tarot, which you know is one of his earlier and most sought after tarots that has verses from Rumi on it, as well as the traditional tarot card titles, again in the RWS style. Now let me just unbox this here while I talk. So you can go online and try to buy used copies of this, and you will pretty much find that it is at least $100 and sometimes a lot more. Here we go. But this version that I bought is only $7 American, and you're going to be stunned by that, right? Look at this beautiful box, the beautiful gold. Of course, there's Nigel's wonderful artwork. This is by the Turkish publishing company E-Corp, and I actually wrote Llewellyn, his original publisher, about this edition, and yes, it is perfectly legal. Yes, they licensed it. So this is a totally legal and totally cheap version of the Rumi Tarot, and you can buy it from E-Corp in Turkey or from Karma Books, and it's also sold on common Turkish platforms. So the deck itself is quite inexpensive, but of course it's the shipping that's going to get you. Anyway, you can find it on eBay, and you can see it also on the Amazon, the German Amazon, where they want way too much money for it. Whoever's importing it there is asking like 60 euro, which is way too much. You should be able to get it for somewhere between 20 and 30 euro complete, because the shipping to Europe, you know, does cost a little money, and it takes a week or two to get. But here it is, and look at this beautiful kit. You can see it's just as nice as the original Llewellyn edition. Unlike the Rose Tarot, it doesn't have the color card pictures, and of course the language is in Turkish. Now this isn't a problem, right? Because you can either look at your existing original version of Rumi Tarot, if you happen to have one, and use this as a backup version, or you can simply go online and you can see all the translations of the Rumi that already exist, and all the pictures of the cards, so you can easily discover what the Rumi sayings on the cards are. Of course, just by looking at the suit symbols, you can tell what each card is supposed to be, right? The Turkish type is actually quite charming when you look at it. It's really quite lovely. You can see the cards are very nice. It's a very similar card stock to the original Llewellyn deck. The original Llewellyn deck did have some issues in that the gold edges would start to peel off on some versions because they were poorly cut. I don't see any signs of poor cutting on this one. And you can see how spectacular his art is in a sort of Persian Turkish style. Of course, another advantage that we have these days, and here is the beautiful mandala on the back, is that you can always just take your Google Translate app on your smartphone, aim it right at the card. That will do the translation for you, and then you can write it down in your tarot journal. So I am just really, pleased as punch with the art on this deck and the quality of this deck. I think the people at E-Corp just did a tremendous job on this. Now let's go back to the book. If you have the original version of the book, then you know already that the book comes basically in 4 parts, right? And the first part is like a little history of Sufism and Rumi's place in it. And there's also a discussion of the path of the roses, which is the path of, unconditional divine love, and the path of light, which is the mystical path of sort of 7 spheres, or, seven stages or stations on the Sufi path. And that it's somewhat analogous, though not exactly the same, as Kabbalah, but these are stages in your meditation, and they're aligned with the planets, with the planetary spheres, and they have all those like colors, the traditional colors of the planetary spheres. This explains why the deck is green, because when you get to the top of the Sufi mystical vision pathway, or path work, then you reach near the sphere of heaven or of the divine, which has a green light. And this explains why the backgrounds of the cards are green, because this shows that you're approaching up the ladder or the stations or the sphere way towards the light of the divine. So this is just really great. And then of course he has your basic explanation of the major and the minor arcana. Again, you can just take your Google Translate app to this, and in the back he has some card layouts, some meditations, and a poem and a chant by Rumi. So it's just wonderful, and I love it. And if you're dying for a copy of the Rumi deck that you can get right now for your collection, or you're just a total Nigel Jackson fanatic like you know I am, then this $7 totally legal version from Turkey is a steal, and I recommend it. Thanks so much.